Chapter 27. And it came to pass that when Ishiach was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his elder son, and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Here am I. And he said, Behold now, I am old, I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray you, your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field, and take me venison, and make me savory food, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless you before I die. And Rebekah heard when Ishiach spoke to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spoke unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard your father speak unto Esau from your brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory food, that I may eat, and bless you before the Lord, before my death. Now therefore, my son, hearken to my voice, according to that which I command you. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from there 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory food for your father, such as he loves. And you shall bring it to your father, that he may eat, so that he may bless you before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau your brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will fill me, and I shall seem to him as a mocker. I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be your curse, my son, only hearken to my voice, and go fetch me them. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory food, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took the choicest garments of Esau her elder son, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, and put them upon Yaakov, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory food and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Yaakov. And he came unto his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art you, my son? And Yaakov said unto his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done according as you badest me. Arise, I pray you, sit and eat my venison, that your soul may bless me. And Ishiach said unto his son, How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord your God sent me good speed. And Ishiach said unto Yaakov, Come near, I pray you, that I may feel you, my son, whether you be my very son Esau or not. And Yaakov went near unto Ishiach his son, his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is the voice of Yaakov, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands, so he blessed him. And he said, Art you my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless you. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Ishiach said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near, and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field, which the Lord has blessed. So God give you of the dew of heaven, and of the fat places of the earth, and the plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brethren, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be every one that curses you, and blessed be every one that blesses you. And it came to pass, as soon as Ishiach had made an end of blessing Yaakov, and Yaakov was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Ishiach his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also made savory food, and brought it unto his father. And he said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that your soul may bless me. And Ishiach his father said unto him, Who art you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn, Esau. And Ishiach trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who then is this he that hath taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before you camest, and have blessed him. Yes, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceeding great and bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Your brother came with guile, and hath taken away your blessing. And he said, Is it not he rightly named Yaakov? He hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? And Ishiak answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him your lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what then shall I do for you, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Have you but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Ishiak his father answered and said unto him, Behold, of the fat places of the earth shall be your dwelling, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shall you live, and you shall serve your brother. And it shall come to pass, when you shall break loose, that you shall shake his yoke from off your neck. And Esau hated Jacob, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, Let the days of the mourning for my father be at hand. Then will I slay my brother Yaakov. And the words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Yaakov her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, your brother Esau, as touching you, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill you. Now therefore, my son, hearken to my voice, and arise, flee you to Laban, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days, until your brother's fury turn away, until your brother's anger turn away from you, and he forget that which you have done to him. Then will I send and fetch you from there. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one day? And Rebekah said to Ishiak, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Yaakov take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these, of the daughters of this land, what good shall my life do me? All right, let's go back up. Verse 1. We are continuing in the story of Ishiak, Rebekah, Yaakov, and Esau. We, last chapter, had kind of redone a story again. I guess this is the stories of repetition, you might say. This, it's like waves coming in, or light coming in, any way you want to look at it. This understanding just keeps rolling in. We're going to pick it up here in verse 1. And it came to pass that when Ishiak was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his elder son, and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Here am I. So it comes to pass in time, as Ishiak, we'll find out, this one will laugh, grows old. His eyes were dim. He couldn't see anymore. As well as we'll find out, his perceptions had been dimmed as well. To be able to perceive is to gather information outside that of sight and use it to clarify our vision. It says unto him, so he called Esau in his older age, and Esau is this one who is rough, ruddy, or rough and ruddy, hairy. His elder son was the firstborn, as we'll find out. And then with the law of the firstborn goes that double portion, or the greater of the blessing. And he said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Here am I. So Ishiak calls Esau into him too, and said, Behold now, I am old, I know not the day of my death. And he tells him he's getting old. He doesn't know when he's going to die. 3, Now therefore take, I pray you, your weapons, your quiver and your bow, go out to the field and take me venison. So he tells him to go ahead and take his weapons. These are instruments of destruction, as what a weapon always is. Your quiver and your bow. And Esau was a hunter. A hunter is simply someone who has ability to hunt, to lay in wait. This quiver and bow is that which shows the strength, and that which carries those. The quiver is that which carries the arrows, or those things that go forth. It's always that, like these truths that can be shot by strength, and they go out and go out to the field and take me venison. He sends him out hunting. Venison is going to be the wild game, that which is clean. Abroad, we'll find out the Lord made a separation in the clean and the unclean in the beginning. And he sends him out hunting. 4, make me savory food such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless you before I die. So he sends him, and he wants him to prepare him some savory food, that which he enjoys much, that which has that savory taste, or is the spice in it, that my soul may bless you before I die. Before he we'll find out, breathed out and returned that breath which he had borrowed from the Lord. But his soul, that's it. That's the life within him. Esau was a rough man who hunted and lived in the field, and we'll find that's what that savory food stood for, was that spice of life that it offers. 5, and Rebekah heard when Ishmael spoke to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. So Rebekah, that's that one who's fettered by beauty, or fetters by beauty, heard when Ishmael spoke to Esau. So she heard the conversation. We're going to call to remembrance what the Lord spoke unto Rebekah now, that the younger will rule the older. And the Lord is always behind everything that's done. And the circumstances are under his control, we'll find, and we are just a matter of those circumstances. So Esau goes off to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. Meanwhile, 6, and Rebekah spoke unto Yaakov her son, saying, Behold, I heard your father speak unto Esau your brother, saying, 7, bring me venison, and make me savory food, that I may eat, and bless you before the Lord, before my death. So she heard him, and she tells Yaakov that she had overheard Ishmael sending Esau, his brother, out to hunt so that he could return and bless him before that he dies. And Rebekah, this one is fettered by beauty, wants Yaakov. That's that one the supplanter. And that means basically to take up that which rightfully is not his. We'll find out the Lord is behind it all. And that portion we're going to find out is going to be turned over to somebody else. There's always another student in the class. 8, now therefore, my son, hearken to my voice according to that which I command you. And Rebekah tells Yaakov to listen to her. And go now, 9, to the flock, and fetch me from there these 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory food for your father, such as he loves. And she sent him out to the flock to fetch these 2. And anytime we say 2, we will witness these 2 good kids. That's those young goats. A goat's something that's of the herd. It's going to be that later on that would exalt itself in the males. And I will make them savory food for your father. We're going to find out. We're going to witness these 2 young ones. 10, and you shall bring it to your father, that he may eat, so that he may bless you before his death. Bring him in, and she's going to cook this now. And it's all, we'll see, in order to caused Yaakov to receive the blessing. 11, and Yaakov said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. And Jacob tells her that he's a rough guy. My brother is not. He's not like me. He's just the opposite. Brother, though they got the same father, we'll find out the Lord said, I'm going to separate these two. And that's what we got. We got one that's rough and one that's smooth. One's rough around the edges and one's already kind of smoothed out. You can look at it like that. His understanding's even 12. My father peradventure will fill me, and I shall seem to him as a mocker, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. So he tells his mother, suppose now, if my father fills me, he'll know the truth. And because there's other ways to perceive, and we'll find out all the ways of perception on the outside had been changed, but that what was inward was still exposed. And I shall bring this curse upon me, and not a blessing. And if his father would find him out, he would have brought a curse upon him. But 13, and his mother said unto him, Upon me be your curse, my son, only hearken to my voice, and go fetch me them. And his mother, of course, that's going to be the one to give birth to him, said to her son, this one who had come forth, who was going to carry forth that Shem, your curse be upon me, be your curse, my son. So she sends him forth, and with that understanding that can be transferred. It cannot. Of course, we are guilty for that which we do. It's our intent overall that is going to make the difference. 14, and he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory food, such as his father loved. So he went and did what his mother asked him to do. Of course, that's the proper thing to do. 15, and Rebekah took the choicest garments of Esau, her elder son, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Yaakov, her younger son. And Rebekah takes the choicest garments. The choicest garments always going to be the best of these coverings of Esau, that one who was rough. We'll find out her oldest son, the firstborn. That's the one the birthright would inherently go to. And these were these garments that belonged to Esau, that was in her house, and she put them upon Jacob, her younger son, and she takes them and puts them upon Yaakov. The Lord's behind it all. 16, and she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she took the skins of these goats. She put them on the back of his hands, so that he would appear to be hairy and rough, just like his brother Esau. And she's disguising him. And upon the smooth of his neck, the neck's always that elongated place that supports the understanding. 17, and she gave the savory food and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Yaakov. And she gave that savory food, or that which was spiced substance, and the bread. The bread's a little bit of nourishment. It's we can look at the bread like some fortified understanding for the body, which she had prepared in the hand of her son. And she gave it to that which she had prepared into the hand, or the works of her son Yaakov. That's the supplanter. Yes, and that basically means the one who's going to take that over that which wasn't his. And we'll find out that because the Lord's going to use it. The Lord's going to use this switch. Not everything is inherent, and not everything is inheritable. 18, and he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art you, my son? So when Jacob brings this that his mother had prepared, and she had dressed him up and made sure he looked the part. Before his father, he asks him, "Who are you, my son?" And Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I've done according as you badest or asked me. Arise, I pray you, sit and eat my venison, that your soul may bless me." And Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn." And as we're going to find out, he was not Esau. This was Yaakov, and he was not telling the truth. And not telling the truth is always going to be the wrong thing to do. But he says, "I have done according as you have asked me. Arise, and I pray you," and we'll see a little difference in the speech and the tone of Yaakov. "Sit and eat my venison." He is basically said, "Father, please arise and eat my venison, that your soul may bless me." Esau is a little rougher in his speech than Yaakov is. 20. And Ishak said unto his son, "How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son?" And he said, "Because the Lord your God sent me good speed." And Ishak said unto his son, "How is it that you have found it so quickly?" He wants to know. He just asked him to go get it. And how did he get back so quickly? What happened? And Yaakov says, "Because the Lord your God sent me good speed." And that's the name. That's that presence of the Lord Himself, the powers of the Mighty One. He sent me good speed, or He prospered my path. 21. And Ishak said unto Yaakov, "Come near, I pray you, that I may feel you, my son, whether you be my very son Esau or not." So Ishak says unto Yaakov, "Come near, I pray you." He wants to feel. "I want that I may feel you. I want to touch you, my son," because he is already starting to perceive by the sound of the voice, by the tone of the voice, and even by these words that are being said, that this is not Esau. He wants to know for sure, make sure that this is Esau. It's 22. And Yaakov went near unto Ishak his father, and he felt him, and said, "The voice is the voice of Yaakov, but the hands are the hands of Esau." And Yaakov went near unto Ishak his father, and he felt him, and he said that this voice is the voice of Yaakov. He knew the voice sounded like that one of the supplanter, this one who would take charge of that which really didn't belong to him. We'll find out the Lord's behind it. There's always a lesson in life for everybody. And the hands are the hands of Esau. But now the works, they are the works of Esau, the one who is rough. And we'll find out the great amount of skill. 23, and he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands, so he blessed him. But he didn't know who he was, because his works were hairy, his hands were hairy, just like his brothers Esau, this one of the same understanding as he would. We'll see they wasn't quite the same. One can disguise themselves to give off that perception, though. So he blessed him. 24, and he said, "Are you my very son Esau?" And he said, "I am." But before he does, he asks him now, "Art you my very son? Truly, are you my son Esau, this one to come forth from me, this one who is rough?" And he said, "I am." And this may be and truly he is. 25. And he said, "Bring it near to me, I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless you." And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. So after he convinces him that he is Esau, he says, because the one thing a father always expects from his son, or this one that comes forth from him, is the truth, nothing but the truth. He says, bring it near, and I will eat my son's venison. He's going to accept that which is brought him, that my soul may bless you. And he will, his soul, that breath that's within him. And that's this portion of to share even that breath that comes out. Each breath we take, we borrow from the Lord, and we got to return it as soon as we are finished with it. We can only retain it for so long, and it must be returned. It doesn't belong to us. We are allowed to share it. We'll find out. We can release it. It comes forth as a word. That portion of the breath is shared. It's like our life. But he brings this near to him to receive that portion of that can be shared in life, and he eats. And he brings him wine as well. Wine is something that gives off an effect of pleasantness, and he drank it. So he comforted him. He gave him some the food that he had requested. 26. And his father Ishmael said unto him, come near now, and kiss me, my son. So now this one that brought him forth, this one who last, says to him now, come near, and kiss me, embrace me, my son. 27. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, see, the smell of my son is the smell of the field, which the Lord has blessed. And when Yaakov comes near to him to kiss him, Jacob uses the last of this senses, we'll find, and he smells, or another one of his senses, to smell, and that's to perceive that odor that's coming off. And the smell of his raiment, of course, was Esau's raiment, or that one who was Rough's raiment, or that which he covers himself with. And he blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is the smell of the field, which the Lord has blessed. And see now, that should be clear to everybody by now. The smell of my son, that odor that comes off, that's that breath of life, that which is shared, is the smell of the field. It's that which is abroad, outside, not within the city. And that's that portion which the Lord has blessed. 28. So God give you of the dew of heaven, and of the fat places of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. So God give you, and this is the blessing, the dew of heaven. That's that gentle rain that has a way to precipitate into understanding of these fat places. That's all the good part of the earth, and flesh included. Plenty of corn and wine. That corn, not at that time, but that part of the harvest of wine, your bread and your wine, that substance which nourishes the body, and that pleasantness of the harvest as well, that wine that gives off that effect of that. 29. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brethren, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be every one that curses you, and blessed be every one that blesses you. Let the people serve you. That's the nations here. All those of all the nations serve you, and the nations bow down to you. We'll find out this is to be below, and that's in humility. We want to find out, not with any kind of force that should be used. Be Lord over your brethren, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. And be Lord over your brethren. over those that come forth from your father that are similar to you. Let your mother's sons, that's those that were born from your mother out of that womb, bow down to you. And they can. Cursed be everyone that curses you, and blessed be everyone that blesses you. So cursed be everyone that curses you. And this, let that which people try to do evil to you, it'll return onto their own head, and those that try to do good to you, it'll return unto their own head. So it's an equal portion. We'll find out, similar to an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, or let the accuser be accused. 30, and it came to pass as soon as Yishak had made an end of blessing Yaakov, and Yaakov was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Ishak his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. So it comes to pass, as soon as Ishak had made an end of blessing Yaakov, and he had left, however long that took, Yaakov was scarce gone. Just had left from that presence of Ishak his father. That's that one who laughs. That Esau his brother came in from his hunting. Now Esau is returned as one who's rough. He is the brother. This one has a similar understanding as Yaakov. He come from the same father, but they're nothing alike. We'll find out. He returns from his hunting, out from the field. 31, and he also made savory food and brought it unto his father, and he said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that your soul may bless me. And he also made a savory food. He prepared that which his father loved to and enjoyed, and brought it unto his father, just like his father had asked him to do. And he said unto his father, Let my father arise, eat of his son's venison, that your soul may bless me. And he says to his father, with authority, with understanding, Let my father arise to receive that which he knew. But he had sold his birthright, we'll find out, and that birthright is what goes. This blessing goes with that double portion. It's part of that double portion, not only the physical, but the inner blessing as well. 32, and Ishak his father said unto him, Who are you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn Ishak. So Ishak wants to know. He says, Who are you? Because he had done give the blessing away. Ishak says, I am your son. I am the one who come forth from you, your firstborn. That one who was born in the beginning. Ishak, this rough, hairy one. 33, and Ishak trembled very exceedingly and said, Who then is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? I have eaten of all before you came, and have blessed him. Yes, he shall be blessed. And Ishak trembled, or was in fear greatly, because that blessing, that portion, had been given away. He had brought the venison, and he had eaten. Before Esau had got there, and he had already given him that blessing, and he says, and yes, he shall be blessed, because knowing that it is always the work of the Lord. 34, when Esau heard, of course, sometimes when we get a hold of something, we think it was going to be the big deal. There's a lot of responsibility rolled up into it. And sometimes we wind up getting what we don't really want. 34, when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceeding great and bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, my father. So when Esau hears these words of his father, he cries out, because his blessing, his portion, had been given to Yaakov. He says, Bless me, give me as well, my father. 35, and he said, Your brother came with guile, and hath taken away your blessing. And he said, Your brother, this one who has a similar understanding as you do, come with guile, come with trickery and craftiness, and he has taken away your blessing. 36. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? And he says to him, Is not rightly he named Jacob? Because that means supplanter, this one who takes those things that are, and we'll find out that there's a lesson in all this if we search for it hard enough. The lesson to the supplanter. Now these 2 times witness these 2 lessons. We will learn them as we go. He took away my birthright, that which rightfully was mine. But the desiring that, and using once again weakness and this trickery to obtain those things. And behold, now he has taken away my blessing. That we'll find out, the breath of life itself, which the Father shared with him. And he said, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? Is there nothing left at all for me? 37. And Ishmael answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him your Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. What then shall I do for you, my son? And Ishmael answered and says to Esau, that's the one who laughs. He says to Esau, that's the rough one, the hairy one. We'll find out that he's going to have a rough and hairy time in life. Behold, I have made him your Lord. I've made him your ruler. All his brethren have I given to him for servants. And all these ones who have a similar understanding, or not exactly like him, have I given to him to be servants. They're going to serve under him. With corn and wine, not corn at that time, but with the harvest and with the bread and wine, that pleasure, the goodness of it all, have I sustained him. What then shall I do for you, my son? I've given him everything. Of course, we know there's a smaller portion left for Esau, 38. And Esau said unto his father, Have you but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. So Esau, the rough one, says to his father, Have you not but one blessing? This single blessing, just one, because that's all it takes, just a small one, my father. Bless me even also, O my father. And we'll find out. Ishmael does bless him. Esau lifts up and weeps, cries out loud. 39. And Ishmael his father answers and says unto him, Behold, of the fat places of the earth shall be your dwelling, and of the dew of heaven from above. And he starts his blessing out just similar to the one where he blesses Jacob. These fat places, that's all the good places of the earth, all that goodness that comes from the earth even, shall be your dwelling. That's where you'll be. Of the dew of heaven from above, and of the dew of heaven. That's in the dew of heaven. That's that subtle precipitation of understanding that comes in that form of life-giving substance, and it comes from above. 40. And by your sword shall you live, and you shall serve your brother, and it shall come to pass when you shall break loose that you shall shake his yoke from off your neck. And by your sword, sword's always something. Sword is an instrument of judgment, of battle, one could say, but the word is the sword, and that's what your sword is, you shalt live by it, and you shall serve your brother. And to serve your brother is to be underneath him. We'll find out. That's one of the similar understandings. He's not exactly like you are. And it shall come to pass when you shall break loose. To break loose, we'll find out from that yoke that he has over you that causes you to serve. You break it off your neck. That's that which supports your understanding. We'll find out. You would be free from that. And that yoke is always going to be somebody else's understanding. You're going to have the ability to stand on your own according to your word. Should be in alignment with the word of Hashem, the Lord himself. When you make that way, we'll find out that's when you break that yoke from off your neck. That where somebody else has caused you to serve, these understandings that men have, we'll find out it basically boils down into the rule and the law that other men have and hold over you. 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, let the days of mourning of my father be at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith, because he had stole his blessing, and the father had blessed him greatly over him and made him his Lord and his ruler. But it kind of comes down to another angle as well, using Jacob as the example of what Esau was going to need to learn. We'll find out. Always wanting to be somebody else's boss. But Esau, this rough one, says, let these days of mourning, let these understandings even of this mourning of my father be at hand. Let the days where he's going to die come, and I will slay my brother. He's going to slay this one of a similar understanding, the supplanter. 42. And the words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, your brother Esau, as touching you, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill you. And the words, those words that he said when, Esau gets ready to die, I'm going to kill him. That's what was told to Rebekah. Rebekah's that one that was fettered by beauty. She called Jacob, her younger son, 30 seconds younger, Jacob being that supplanter. She says unto him, behold, now your brother, this one of a similar understanding, Esau, the one who's rough, is touching you. Now concerning you here's what he's going to do to you. He's comforted himself, and he's purposing to kill you. He may act like a nice guy, we'll find out, but his intent, this she is telling him, his intent is to kill you. 43. Now therefore, my son, hearken to my voice and arise. Flee you to Laban, my brother, to Haran. Now therefore, my son, one that was born from her, we'll find out Yeshua loved Esau, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Hearken to my voice, arise, get you to Laban, her brother. Laban's that white. A woman was made white, similar to her understanding, come from her father's house. This one who lives in Haran. Haran's that parched place. Any place that's parched, been made an example before. We'll find out. And this is just going to be, we're going to redo that story from before. 44. And tarry with him a few days until your brother's fury turn away. And tarry with him, stay there for a few days. A few days turns into many years. those little understandings turns into greater understandings until your brother's fury turns away, until he doesn't want to kill you no more. 45, until your brother's anger turn away from you, and he forget that which you have done to him. Then I will send and fetch you from there. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one day? Until your brother's anger turn away from you. And this one who had that similar understanding, his anger, this fury that had been incited within him, turns away from Yaakov. He's blaming Yaakov for it, but we'll find it wasn't Yaakov's fault. He forget that which you've done to him. What Yaakov done to him, or what he was prepared, he positioned to do that to him. I'm sure his mother had instructed him all along. And fetch you from there. And I will send and fetch you from there. So when all of it's cleared over, she says, I'm going to send and fetch you from there and get you back. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one day? Why should she be bereaved of you both in one day? In other words, why would Esau was going to kill Yaakov, and is this some form of insinuation? She'd already said it in her heart to do away with him as well. These we'll find out. We have a building of sin. How these understandings just build upon this. And it all goes back to somebody always wanting to be somebody else's boss. God said, I'm going to be king. And if I can't be king, there ain't nobody going to be king. 46. And Rebekah said to Yishak, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these, of the daughters of of the land, what good shall my life do me? And Rebekah, this one who's feathered by beauty, says to Ishaq, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. These understandings that come forth from terror, I would greatly imagine so. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, now, if Yaakov, the supplanter, take a wife, or the reflection of his understanding coming from the daughter of Heth, the terror, imagine how horrible that would have turned out. Such as these, talking about these daughters, these understandings of the land, and that's always those that believe in all these idolatry. Now, what good shall my life do me? Or what good it would have been for me to live, to share that gift that I was given with others. When, we find out she's going to send him, Yaakov, back to her father's house. This one to give birth to her. She's a daughter of Nahor, the one who boasted himself or was snorting. Basically the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the queen. And we'll find out it all goes back. Always somebody. And we'll see the Lord prosper the way. The Lord prospers the way. Lord give everybody a certain amount of ability, a certain common understanding that lives within every one of us. And that's the Lord himself, and he's always trying to instruct you in the right path. And basically what we find is that when you take up your own understanding, and that understanding is in alignment with the Lord, you'll prosper that day forth. As the Lord give you the right to rule yourself, each and every one. We're going to move forward to Genesis 28. Turn and return.